Welcome back to another episode of the Random Specific Show, starring Hayden. And thank you guys for joining us for another episode. I am joined by the one and only. I'm going to start with the panel that's here in the room with me. Jason Bell, how you doing, sir? And that's enough of him. And let's get back to the person that you guys have came to see. We have a special guest in the room, the one and only. This Lord Britt. Hey, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you guys doing?
You scared me for a second. I thought All right, guys, let's get into some of the movie news that's going on out there. Okay, so we have. Because I can't see. So let's get into some of the topics that's going on in the world of movies. And you guys said you would help me talk about it. So let's get right into that. First and foremost, let me see if I.
I feel like Jason said he wanted to read the show notes. I feel like he volunteered.
Oh, there you go. See, I do.
Did I remember that right?
Hey, yeah. I don't even have them.
Oh no, that's bullcorn because I sent it to both of you guys, and both of like, you know what? Let me do a double screen. You guys that are watching right now, let's
Oh no, he's about to show the CTs.
Okay. I sent the show notes to both Jason and Britt, and both of them will. I was like, hey, you want? Like, sometimes you could read this the first topic or the second topic or the third topic, whatever topic you want to read, and they were like, no, you can handle it. I don't like reading the topics because sometimes I stammer, I'll stutter, I mess up. I feel like everybody is a better reader than I am, but no one wants to have my back. Everybody's like, they love to watch me fail. So I asked Britt, I said, hey,
it's adding character. No, it's just adding character to the information when you do.
Bull crap. You want to watch
it is
struggle. That's what's going on.
What? I don't get joy out of other people's suffering. What are you talking about?
She says as she ignites both the double saber, like both sides of the double saber. I get no joy of your suffering. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. I remember that. All right. Let's get into the first topic. Let me see if I can get my going on here. I was trying to stall and get them in place. There we go. Okay. So the first topic that comes in for the movie news segment comes in from Collider. Let me have it. Here we go. I promise this is a real show. I promise. There we go. From Collider. Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy has been delayed at Lucasfilm. It's been 5 years since The Last Jedi released, stellar reviews, but divided fans right down the middle. In that time, Johnson's trilogy was quietly put on the back burner, which is apparently where it's staying. Kathleen Kennedy, in her own words, stated, Rian has been unbelievably busy with Knives Out and the deal that he made with Netflix for multiple movies. I hesitate to use the word trilogy anymore because Star Wars is much more about persistent storytelling. Guys, okay, I'm gonna start with you, Jason. Jason, what do you think about Kathleen's choice of words about not using the word trilogy for Star Wars? Of Kathleen Kennedy?
Yes.
The lady who brought us The Mandalorian. Oh, you're one of those.
Man.
You Kathleen hater. I'm sorry. Can I just say that I love Kathleen Kennedy because I'm attracted to power. Okay, all right. Okay, okay.
Power's a good book. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just saying. I've already had this conversation with my wife. She's on my list. Okay, but go ahead. What were we saying?
her own words, she said she's going to avoid using the word trilogy. They've been going on and on about him having his own set of movies, and I honestly believe they need to just stop talking about it because it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen.
I agree. What about you, Britt? What do you think? Do you think this trilogy is ever going to happen?
I don't see. I hate when I say stuff out loud. The opposite always happens. So it's like if I don't say it out loud, maybe.
Why do you love Kathleen Kennedy and Rian Johnson so much? And go.
Right? Like I'm neutral. We're neutral on Kathleen, to be honest with you, because I'm with you. If were the sequels my absolute favorite thing in the world? No. Did I still like them and enjoy them as entertainment? Absolutely, because I love Star Wars. I know what was wrong with it lore-wise. I know why all the nerds were up in arms about them, but I still thought that they were beautiful movies, and I thought that the casting was amazing. I will die on that hill. Every single person cast in that movie I thought was phenomenal. Yeah. So right, like even if you don't enjoy the whole thing, like I will still find bits and pieces and parts that I liked. I don't like when people are just like, oh, this one thing, garbage, throw it away. Like, what? Are you serious? It's Star Wars content. I can't imagine just like hating all of it because you don't like one thing or a behind the scenes person. I don't know about the whole trilogy thing. I don't know. I also think that she's playing it safe with her words because the standalone movies did great, right? Like Solo didn't do as great as it should have. Honestly, I don't know what if you guys haven't watched Solo, like people need to go back and watch Solo.
It didn't overwhelm. It whelmed.
Right? We got to watch it at least one time. Right. But so many people were just like, for political reasons, they're like, I'm just not going to watch it because blah, blah, blah. And I was like, it's its own movie. Like,
not my Chewbacca.
Give it a chance, right?
Donald Glover was great.
Give it a chance, man. But and then there was Rogue One, which was so insanely good in my opinion. Fantastic. Yeah, I was gonna say it's so. I have a whole bunch of artwork actually from that movie. It's so good. It was so unique that I feel like, and they look at the success of that, and I think that they're kind of hesitant to say, okay, let's do a whole trilogy because the impression of the last one will be there for so long. And I think, of course, the last standalone, we all have, the love of Rogue One, and it's like they would like to replicate that success. So I think she's just using her words wisely. To leave the options open, because if she says anything out loud, they're gonna be like, oh, married to that idea, I have to do it that way.
Exactly.
So she's playing it safe, but I don't know. I would love to see it.
It sounds like he doesn't have the time. He doesn't have the time for
it. I think I find it cute that you think that excuse is legit. No, this has been like years in the make. I feel like the backlash from. Here's the thing. Okay, let me go into I'm gonna give 1 minute, be a solid 60 seconds, be a tight 60 for my rant real quick. Here's the Star Wars fandom in a nutshell. They will always hate on the current thing and then forgive the last thing. Like when the Last Jedi came out, everyone bashed it. It was like worse. It sucks. I hate Ryan. I hate him. I hate this director. Blah blah blah. They bashed it so hard. Then The Force Awakens. And it was like, the Last Jedi wasn't great.
That bad. It wasn't also bad.
Yeah. It doesn't to those fandom people. Those I call them gobbledygook. I don't. Those toxic fanboys just want to hate on everything just for the sake of hating. They all hated on his direction. The fact they said, we don't get anything new in Hollywood. We don't get anything fresh. We don't get it. And he gave us something new.
And they were mad about it.
And then when The Force Awakens came out, they were like, you know what? The Last Jedi wasn't that bad. So I'm thinking that when the next Star Wars movie comes out, and then all of a sudden The Force Awakens is going to be a masterpiece. That's what I feel like where we're at. I love everything that comes out of Star Wars. I love the Vader identified as Skywalker, all of that stuff. I take it for what it is. I can point out the fault. I can point out the good stuff. But to just bash on it for the sake of bashing the way some other people do it, This channel has never been about that. I've never been about that. But
I'm not gonna bash on it, but one of the obvious things of all three films was
there was never they were day trading. It was a day by case, day by day thing. It wasn't like the MCU where it was like there's an overall we're going to like
and honestly,
I feel like but I feel like we're getting there. I feel like we're getting there.
A franchise that large needs that kind of planning done ahead of time.
Tell me if you guys agree with this. There's something that's being said a lot that Star Wars being such a large or seemingly large property, it doesn't need. It feels like they shrink it so much. It's like it's every character they introduce is always related to one of the legacy characters and stuff like that. We don't need that with Star Wars. This new character that we're introducing doesn't need to be the nephew of Luke Skywalker or stuff like that. Like Star Wars is big enough. Go in a new direction.
Right. Well, the cinema is the Skywalker saga. It is about the Skywalker family. That's literally what the 9 movies are about.
But that's officially over now, right? Like they with the last movie.
I think that's another reason why, right? She could that's why Kathleen Kennedy is probably saying also like we're not going to call it a trilogy because I think that's what people are going to relate it back to. Right. And be like, oh, well, how come this is so disconnected? Because I say this all the time, Chris, like you're spot on. Nerds are impossible to please.
Yeah.
We are impossible. We will complain and like whine about something. We'll find something to complain about.
Give us the Snyder cut. And then when they got it, it was like, now I want more.
Right. It's over already? Why was it so short?
Only 4
this
hours?
Is garbage.
First, they wanted to bash.
Yeah. Snyder is messing everything up, and then when he leaves, give us more Snyder.
Where's Snyder? Yeah. Why would you just leave us like that?
That's probably what's going to happen with Kathleen Kennedy. Kathleen Kennedy is messing everything up. Bring back Kathleen Kennedy.
I think you're right too, because the prequels was that way too, right? When the prequels were out, it was the worst thing, and people hated it. Oh, don't even get me started on Jar Jar. I will fight people over Jar Jar. Oh my God. When it was out, people hated it. It was the worst thing ever. And then after, the prequels had some time to like cool off and I almost grew on people. Almost like, you're right. Like it had time to breathe. And then we got the sequels. Then people were like, this is horrible. I hear other people say that like you had something else to compare it against. Like, oh, I thought it was bad, but then they made something worse. And I'm like, okay, that's not a great way of looking at it. But I do feel like the more time that passes, people are able to allow the good things to grow on them. So the prequels, right, started to become more popular, I feel, once the sequels came around. And people realized how good they were.
So, oh my God, Snyder Cut gone with the wind featuring Batman. Also saying Rogue One was the best.
Rogue One's amazing. Such a good movie. It was such a risk to go that dark with Star Wars, right? And it paid off. It was an insane movie.
We're gonna get more. So I don't know. Did I interrupt? Were you about to say something?
I was gonna say I can't wait
Oh
for the
yeah, and we're about to get into that. So guys, that's the movie news. Let us know what you guys think about that. Like I said, keep talking to us in the comment section. Appreciate it, and keep talking. Let's move on to the streaming side of the force. Let's talk about what's going on with that stuff. Let's see if I'm not messed up enough to get the next talking point up from there. It is. I found it. I don't know what I'm doing from Vanity Fair. From Vanity Fair, we have some news coming in from Vanity Fair. Let's see if I can. Sorry. I fixed it. There we go. From Vanity Fair, an exclusive look at the master plan for Obi-Wan Kenobi with Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen. Andor with Diego Luna, Ahsoka with Rosario Dawson, and a fleet of new stories by Anthony BREZNICAN and photography by Anne Leibovitz. If I said that correctly.
LEIBOVITZ, yeah.
We start with
Legend.
Everyone's favorite Sith Lord, Darth Vader, in in the new show Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Lord of the Sith Darkseid hunts his old mentor, setting up for their fateful confrontation in 1977 Star Wars. Obi-Wan Kenobi will premiere in May 27th. Obi-Wan Kenobi in the this is why I shouldn't read stuff. New show Eponimo. Am I saying that right? New show. Ewan McGregor reprises his role as as the young version of. Did I mess this up? I'm sorry. I did a copy and paste and I totally messed this up. Ewan McGregor reprises his role as the young version of Alec Guinness' wise old man now in exile on the desert. The next image features Mon Mothma in Andor believes in nothing but eventually risks everything to aid the rebellion. Andor premieres late summer 2022. Din Djarin, Pedro Pascal's bounty hunter, a.k.a. the Mandalorian, has such an orthodox development to his culture that he only takes off his helmet for dire circumstances. Why did I put all this in here? Season 3 of The Mandalorian returns in the late 2022 or early 2023. Ahsoka Tano, Rosario Dawson's alien warrior, is deeply attuned to the Force, but some fans call her a grave Jedi. I don't. Because she doesn't commit to absolute like her brother. Ahsoka is scheduled for the premiere in 2023. Guys, what do you think? I'll start with you, Britt. What do you think about this article, about the news that and everything that's coming out in Disney Plus?
This whole photo shoot just gives me life. Annie Leibovitz is an absolute legend, obviously. Like, I don't even need to say that. She doesn't need me to say that. Her art is legendary. And this photo, I tend to look like way too much into stuff like this. But I thought it was interesting, the characters that they picked for the front, it's all blue, right? They didn't pick like the quote unquote like biggest characters, right? Don't you think like it's something Star Wars? We have Hayden Christensen coming back as Darth Vader. Don't you think you would put Darth Vader on the cover? But they didn't. I thought that was really interesting, the choice of characters that they put on the front. And everything's blue toned, right? Which in Star Wars psychology, when I get out my real nerd side over here, everything's blue toned. Like when you think of the blues, you think of like all the light side characters, the heroes, the neutral characters. That's who they attach blue to, like with those kyber crystals and those color choices for the costumes. So of course they kind of stuck with that array with these cool tone, looking characters and their costumes for the front, and then they stuck Vader kind of in the middle. I wonder if they showed in this clip or not. But I thought it was interesting that like you had the chance to put Darth Vader on the cover of Vanity Fair, like wouldn't you? He's the most iconic, like literally the most iconic helmet of all time. Like so many people have talked about it. What's the most iconic piece or armament or weapon or whatever in Star Wars? Absolutely, everyone agrees it's Darth Vader's helmet. The shape of that helmet is iconic. Everyone knows it. If you don't know Star Wars, you know that helmet. So I thought it was kind of a bold choice to put Mando on the front, to put Ahsoka on the front. Yeah, I mean, I'm into it. I like someone did something different and it was unexpected. The photos are so exciting. I'm so excited to have Hayden Christensen back. I'm looking
I love the
forward
fact
to
that
it.
he thought that was the end of it. They came to him and he was 14 years old and he thought it was over. And for him to come back, I'm excited for that as well. I mean, because anybody technically could play Vader, but the fact that we know that it's Hayden Christensen, I'm looking forward to possible flashback. I'm looking forward to things like that. That's what I want. I want flashbacks, conversations between Anakin and Obi-Wan. Just like when people argue about that line from A New Hope, Delta Force. He never finished the sentence, which leaves that loophole for since when? since we played spades back on Tatooine, or since we a couple of years before A New Hope. So a lot of people want to say no, it's breaking canon. I say it's not breaking canon because he never seen it. So anything could have happened. Will there be a scene between Darth Vader and Obi? Probably not. I'm leaning more towards probably not. It's probably going to be him more fighting against the Inquisitor. But will there be a scene? That's the question. What do you think? Do you think there's going to be a scene with Vader and Obi? What do you think, Jason? You think there will be? What about you, Britt? What do you think? You think will there be a scene between Vader, not Anakin, Vader?
God, I hope so.
I
hope so. If they don't, like, oh my God, what are you even doing? What are you even doing with your time if you're not going to bring those two together? Yeah. I don't know. Like, could you imagine? Just I don't know, with these directors, right? With this like new team, like you call them the Teamo directors over here that started with Mando. I feel like their storytelling, right? Like with the way Mando was, I feel most people. This is just me, like as an American, how I view a lot of cinema is that I feel like a lot of people kind of like string it out for as long as they can. And then at the end, they give you that big, this is what you guys were waiting for, right? It's how a lot of movies are. But with the most recent, like the newer Star Wars, it's very much been like in Mandalorian. I remember every week just being like, oh my God, it's the first episode and they're doing a thing. Like I don't have to wait till the 8th episode for them to do a thing. The very first episode with like when Grogu's out there just like boop ET in it with Din. They just were like delivering these huge hits, and it wasn't always like the last scene, right? Like oh my gosh, Breaking Bad, right? Yo, Mr. White, right? Okay, yeah, like how every single episode was shocking. Like every single episode when you'd end that show, it was like, oh my God. Like you couldn't wait for the next one. Every single one was shocking. They delivered on every single episode. And it wasn't to that level, but I felt like Mandalorian, just like I said, they weren't afraid to just, here's the thing. By the way, we're in Boba Fett, but here's Din. You're just like, like they're not afraid to bring in these characters. And for all the fanboys who are like, it's fan service, like, yeah, because we enjoy these characters and we want to see them.
Right.
So I can't imagine with the storytelling that Dave Filoni does that he's not going to like right out of the gate, just like deliver something huge and shock us. I would hope that he would do that. Maybe not. Maybe they'll take a different turn. Maybe someone else will be taking the wheel. But I know at least with Dave Filoni's storytelling, that's how I feel he delivers that kind of story to us. Is he's not shy and doesn't do that really classical like build up and then delivery at the end. It's not how he's ever told stories. So yeah, I hope so. If they don't, I'll be crying. Call me and I'll be crying about it.
I love this article. I love it went back in Diego Luna's. He talked about how he was in a car ride. I guess he was in a taxi or maybe he was in an Uber. He was trying to be quiet because he was having a conversation that was confidential, and he didn't want the driver to listen to hearing what he was. He didn't want to reveal anything because he knows that Disney will will drop the hammer down on you. So this whole article was very interesting in Vanity Fair. Mm-hmm.
That he's not ever supposed to be without his what?
That he said it again.
Helmet on.
Oh yeah.
And on the cover, he's doing what?
Yeah, I thought about. I mean, he's an actor. You got to show his face.
They could have did that.
Wait, in the last Mandalorian, he admitted that he's been seen without his helmet. He hasn't gone through the.
He does, yeah.
And he hasn't gone. That's how the season ended. He hasn't gone through the trials yet to correct that. So this suit in Vanity Fair is fine. He's already painted. Like, what are you talking? I'm not trying to bring in drama. He he hasn't gone through the trials yet in Mandor to fix his reputation yet.
He's trying to he's trying to rectify himself in the eyes of his clan. Yep.
Hey, Mando, you need you to come out here and take a photo without your helmet. He's like, well, it's fine because I haven't gone.
Whatever.
I haven't gone to Mandor yet to fix my rep, so he's fine. Relax. Jason's trying to start drama.
See, do you know what? No, you're right. Okay, wait, that seals up for me. Because I was about to say, well, how come they didn't have Vader? Like, I was kind of wondering that. Because if they put Vader on the front, would they have let it be Hayden with the helmet off as Vader? Because Vader can't survive.
Because in that situation,
is that why they didn't put him on the front?
If Hayden Christensen would take his helmet off that photo shoot, then that means from the Vader at the time period that Vader that we're at with Vader, if he takes his helmet off, he would have to kill everybody in the room. He would have to kill Ewan McGregor. No one's supposed to know that Vader is
roasted.
that Vader is still keeping. So if Hayden Christensen took his helmet off, he would have to kill Ewan McGregor. He would have to kill everybody. I'm being extra right now. Obi-Wan knows, but everybody else, but in all the.
Do you know who else knew? Which someone brought this up to me via a meme the other day.
Knew that Vader was
They're like, yo, R2D2 know. And R2 didn't tell anyone. He's just like booping around the universe, just like nothing's happening, and acts like he's the first time he sees them,
Asshole trash can. Oh, but hey,
I want to know y'all.
Who else? I know who else? Darth Maul, Thrawn. Thrawn knows. Thrawn knew.
I want to know y'all. Do y'all think R2 has power?
I heard about that. The question is, can an inanimate object get the Force? It depends.
Yeah.
The Force. I mean, the Force is about balance. I mean, if there's something going on in the Force that tilts the balance one way, and they have to, correct that, and if the answer to correcting that is giving it to an inanimate object, yeah, maybe. But
because if you think about it, about both, always R2 the right thing at the right time.
I would argue that the Force is with R2D2,
exactly.
not that he can, not in the way that it's with the Jedi. I think that the Force is like, protect this droid and make sure that he's in the right place at the right time. Not that we're gonna let this droid, do the Jedi mind, because R2 would use the Jedi mind trick on C-3PO every day.
That's right. Yeah, he is pretty trolly. He would troll like that.
Yeah.
I can see that, like how the Force is like using him as a tool, like to affect things that are going on, but it's not like he's tapping into the Force, because I've heard a whole lot of theories about R2.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
Tesla.
I was gonna say, I don't know, because like they kind of toe the lines with all the droids, right? With the droids being human-like, with K2SO, right? Like having like very lovable personality. Everyone loved him, right? When he goes down, you see Casey just like, oh my God, that's my bud. He's actually sad. With C-3PO, getting his mind wiped or whatever, like people had a moment, and it was like, well, if they, weren't actually so closely related to humans, or if these personalities didn't have some kind of tangible, like effect on people, then, why are people caring so much? When these droids die, if they're just replaceable. So sometimes I think they kind of push the line of if a droid is a person or not, or is a character or not. So I don't know. I don't think they'll ever answer that. I think they would leave that one open for us to interpret.
I'm gonna give y'all something to think about.
Does that sex doll have the Force?
in the first Star Wars,
hey, or awesome, I don't know.
In the first Star Wars movie, when they're on Tatooine, when Luke first comes across R2D2, y'all remember everything that happened?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this droid has a busted something.
It was a droid that all of a sudden
broke. Yeah, R2 sabotaged that motherfucker.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I don't necessarily have to say that R2 has the Force. R2 sabotaged that droid when they were in communication, because he knew that he had to be more to get off that vessel with the tongue or whatever. What are they called? Or to get off that thing, he had to be the most valuable droid. I think R2 just was smart enough to know, or you're a droid that's just like me. So I'm gonna break you. And yeah,
Mhm.
I'm not necessarily saying he had to.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that he was
He's savage though.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's savage.
yeah, yeah. What's that? Megan Thee Stallion. Yeah, play that Megan Thee Stallion song every time R2. That's what R2 needs. Yeah.
That's good.
But no, I wouldn't say that's sports. All right, moving on to the last topic real quick. I know we've been way over time on this. I apologize for those guys. From the Hollywood Reporter. So Spider-Man director. I don't know if you guys know. They were trying to see if he was going to direct what was it, Fantastic Four. And that is no longer happening. So this comes in from like the Hollywood Reporter. Spider-Man director John Watts to helm coming of age Star Wars Disney Plus series. So we were talking about whether or not it was going to be a series or a movie. So he says, still mostly under wraps, Watts series, codenamed Grammar Rodeo, a reference to an episode of The Simpsons in which Bart and his schoolmates steal a car and run away for a week, was described in Vanity Fair as in the tone of a classic emblem coming of age adventure of the 80s. Watch shows a show will take place closely after the events of the Return of the Jedi, much the same way as the Mandalorian. As far as what do you guys think, Britt? What do you think of a coming of age type of series for Star Wars?
I have an idea that it might be. I had a hunch that it was going to be like one of the animated series, right? They're going to take like one of the Clone Wars side characters and run with it because there's so much in the animated series that they could do. So I kind of at first I was like, well, this is obviously going to be a movie, a show, right, with actors, and then kind of was like, maybe they're gonna like push it for one of the animated series to come back. But also, I just had this like thought. I can't remember which one it was now, which one of the sequels it was, where there's the little boy at the end with the broom.
Oh yeah, the
right after Rose gives him.
Oh, was it no? That was the last. No, that was the last. That was the
last one.
Jedi.
Okay,
to show that he was forced.
Yeah. She gives him Rose gives him the ring, or shows him the ring, right? And he had, which I literally just got goosebumps. So this is such a nerd. He like, someone said something about like, look at the broom, because he pulls it up using the force. And I was like, no. I had to go back and look at it. I didn't even notice. It just went right over my head.
That was Palpatine.
And he what?
That was Palpatine's
his cousin. Yeah, it was his cousin's baby, it's neighbor's mailman's kid. And they're going to tie it all in some weird way. But that little, for some reason, I just had this little like, ooh, because I thought that had a lot of power to it. Like they were kind of leaving the story open. You know, like you said, they like to relate everyone. They like to tie it all in together. So like, what if, she shows the ring to that kid and that, he looks up to the sky and he's all of a sudden inspired because he's had this life-changing event happen in front of him. Like, what if they took a character like that and they tied it in that way and like took that little kid as a story, of going off into the rebellion. And I don't know, they could do a lot. There's so many characters, like the universe is so big, they could do a lot with it. But I kind of am hoping for another animated series. It's just my personal.
If John Watts, coming off of the Spider-Man trilogy,
it wouldn't be him to direct it, right?
Yeah, he's not an animation.
That's just
that's
no.
Just wishful thinking.
That's wishful thinking. I just really want another one, but it'd be really cool though too. Like, what if they went back and took Din as a child, and they did his whole story from childhood up to where we meet him in Mando. Right. And they like tied that in, because I absolutely am obsessed with Rogue One's ability to pick up the story. Because a lot of Hollywood doesn't do this, right? Like they'll alter something to where it's not seamless. But I absolutely love how they took in Rogue One, the actual hallway scene, and tied it in perfectly, right? With Carrie Fisher and everything. It just I was on a high for weeks because I was so grateful that they didn't change it. They didn't alter something to like fit, well, this is how I feel. Well, I just think the music should end here, and so therefore we have to cut it off here. Like they didn't do anything to alter like the true story. And it was so beautiful to me how seamless it was tying that story in to the whole picture. And I just really hope someone else will do something like that. If they tie in like the little boy at the end of, the Skywalker saga to like bring it into the Mandalorian. Like I would love to see them do something like that. Maybe not necessarily like with the Skywalkers, but
you might see that with the Obi-Wan.
I hope they do.
For them to do something kind of seamless with the rest of the movie.
I would even love for them to cross over like one of the standalones with the animated series, just like, start like tying like those Rebels? Together because Clone Wars, Rebels, like taking one of those or like a spin-off character from one of those or the droids from one of those and like kicking that off, into another, like as the segue into another story. There's like endless possibilities. I know there's other people that are just like brainstorming what it could possibly be.
Whatever it is, it's going to be dealing with teams.
The fact that they say, coming of age kind of a thing. We were talking about like a Breakfast Club.
Yeah. That's the style of movie.
I mean, that's what he did with the Spider-Man trilogy. He made it like a what was it?
Like they said, an Amblin.
Yeah. Landon Hughes was it type of thing. So a coming of age Star Wars. The closest thing I think had that was
now go back, and so droid. With dealing with a bunch of
oh my gosh, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I forgot about droids. But yeah,
has so much potential because Mando is set after Order 66.
Right.
Which is like all the devastation of all the Jedi like bouncing. It's like literally anyone could be a child or a teenager at this point in the timeline.
Exactly. Could you imagine
a
group of teenage younglings or something like that that have to band together to run away from the rising empire or something like that?
They said that the code name.
Yeah, I was trying to brainstorm earlier. I was like, what on earth?
Ramarodio,
they said it was a reference to
steal a car and run away for a week.
So, see, that's like. Hey,
so you think that the code name might be a clue?
A clue to what they.
Yeah.
Let me read that again. Grammar Rodeo, a reference to an episode of The Simpsons in which Bart and his schoolmates, steal a car and run away for a week. Was described in Vanity Fair as in the tone of a classic coming of age adventure film of the 80s. Like imagine License to Drive meets Star Wars.
Yeah. All I can think about are those like the crazy bright speeders from Book of Boba Fett. Is like everyone was just like, what? Yeah. Power Rangers. When did this crossover happen?
How
they were wild.
The Corey into Star Wars. Corey film. How do we do that? I think that was
or the Goonies.
I mean, but how would you make that work though? How would you do that?
Hey, they somehow, someone, an adventure. This adventure leads them to
couple kids fall into a mine full of those crystals that make lightsabers or something like that, and they have to keep them away from the Empire or something like that. I don't like something like that. I don't know. What would you think? An 80s coming of age. What would you think? What do you think, Britt? What pops into your head as far as like a plot, a possible plot?
Jabba the Hutt is a teenager, like doing the truffle shuffle. I don't know. Getting picked on as a kid. That's why he's so bitter and old. And
you're all about the villain.
The truffle shuffle.
You're all about the villain origin story and all that.
Yeah.
So I
but what if they go to one of the they do one of those like humanizing stories of like, yeah, you've seen this half of it, but what about the start of their life or why, like who am I thinking? The whole rip too soon. Poor Greedo didn't stand a chance. Like when oh my god, Ben Solo, right? You get this like, oh, he's just angry and bitter for no reason. But then I absolutely love how they did the shot. Oh my God, I'm having brain farts so bad today. Sorry, this is mom brain. I'm on the struggle bus today. Oh my God, his uncle, what the heck? Luke Skywalker over him, right? Like with his face, like it's totally different story, right? When you hear someone say, you know, oh, this accident happened. Oh, my bad. Yeah, let me just like kind of smooth that over. But then you actually saw like Luke Skywalker's face like above him, and Ben's recalling it from his point of view, seeing his uncle who's supposed to be teaching him the ways, like with a saber over him in his sleep. Like talk about feeling betrayed and broken. You'd be mad, slashing up stuff too as an adult. If you had seen that. So yeah, I love that they did that and they actually showed what that scene felt like to him from his point of view. I would love to see other characters get that moment, you know, where things like that would make more sense. They had the chance to tell a lot of different stories in Star Wars. So breaking away from the Force users too, I think is a smart move, because we obviously did that with Mando and Book of Boba. I would love to see them back away from just Jedi and Sith stuff. Although, like, just a Sith story, would be. I'm just saying.
And aren't we about to get that? Aren't we about to? What's it called? What is this show called? Acolyte that we're about to get? I can't wait for that. That's the one I'm
can't wait.
I mean, well, we're a Sith council, so of course. Yeah.
Of course. Yes, excellent.
Roll it again.
There you go.
I think it'll be great, guys. Let us know what you guys think about that. What are your thoughts? Put it in the comment section. Throw it in the comment section. Let us know what you think about John Watts. As you know, he had to get something. I mean, hey, he was about to be Fantastic Four. Kevin Feige was like, I think I might get presented. So you know, would you like to do a Star Wars? And he was like, fine, I'll do Star Wars. So,
Can you imagine performing at that level to where you could just be like, Star Wars, I guess. Like, if you said anything Star Wars, you give me a job for Star Wars, I'd be like, quit everything, burn everything else down to the ground and let me. You got to influence the Star Wars universe.
Like,
what?
She would
blows my mind.
Throws her 3D printer out the window just for a chance.
Absolutely. Oh, I'd spit on them too once they're down there. Like, forget it. I absolutely would give up anything and everything I can't imagine, like I said, performing at such a level that you can just be like, Star Wars, I guess so.
I mean, the guy, he did just crush 3 Spider-Man movies.
I mean, yeah.
So John Watts is on the rise, and I feel like he can write his own path. And I think Kevin Feige recognizes that, just like all these other directors that John Watts is one of those guys. Guys, let us know what you guys think about that. So put your comments in the comment section below, and let us know your thoughts. And maybe we'll talk about it some more on an upcoming We Got Your Mail. I kept these guys longer than I thought I would. I thought this was going to be a tight 30. Jason's been like off camera, like, I gotta go. Oh, so sorry about this. So we're about to wrap the show up. Before I do that, Jason, if everyone wants to find you online, where can people reach out to you? Jay Spell. And the one and the only, the master of the Force herself, Sith Lord. Where can people find you if they want to reach out to you online?
You guys can find me on Twitch on Tuesdays and Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. And then you can find me on all my other socials, literally every platform, including TikTok. But don't take any of those things too seriously. At SithLord_Britt.
I've been meaning to file a
complaint. Oh God.
I am a rare breed. I am a black man. But but guys, if you want to reach
out, shoot. What is it? I'm gonna screen them first before you talk to my manager. What's up?
But if you guys want to reach out to me, you can find me at Chris W. Fagan or at T3 Medias if you want to send a question, a comment, a concern about the show or about anything that's going on. Let me know what you guys think, and like I always say, let's keep talking. Guys, I want to thank everybody who's helped me out with this episode. I had a lot of fun. I hope this is the last time we all get together and talk movies. I appreciate you guys. And until next time, guys, have a good bottle